Hi sweeties, welcome to Learning, Growing and Becoming. My name is Nontu, but you guys can call me Nontu, and I'm very happy to be doing this live thing with you. Today I am shooting in the comfort of my own room, and yes, I am on the floor. I couldn't find like the perfect comfortable spot or the right background, so yeah, I'm here. We're gonna be load shedding sometime soon, so yeah, I've been lazing around today and I was just like, no, let me just shoot this video. Yeah, let me just give it a try, and yeah, here we are. Today is sort of like a meaning story time, and also I think it's a fun fact. Interesting fact, not a fun fact. It's an interesting fact that I left out in my get to know me tag. Yeah, it all started in my matric year when I realized that I really cannot hear that well. We're at a funeral of a church member. My girlfriends and I managed to get a lift from our pastor, and we're sitting at the back, and there was a fellow church member over there. He's a guy and he is talking to the pastor, you know, and he's telling the pastor, he's like, Mfundisi, I have a son. And then I don't know, but I didn't hear everything else. I'm like, oh my goodness, this was half of my girlfriends in the pastor's car, and then the rest of them got a different ride. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go spill my beans. I need to go spill the beans. I need to go give my friends the tea, because what the hell, he has a son. And then it's after Emma tuning after the cemetery, and obviously we're chilling with the girls, and I'm like, guys, I have some tea. I've got some tea for you guys. And I will spill it some tea, bring it on. What's up? What happened? And then I start telling them that so and so told the pastor, Okuti has a son. Kabaga, he has a son. Now one friend looks at me on some, Alzana, didn't you hear? And then she's like, nah, that's not how the conversation went. That's not what he said. He said, Fundisi, I have resigned. I didn't take it serious. I didn't take it. I was like, oh, okay. I thought he said he had a son. But yeah, I didn't look much into it. There were a lot of many other instances. Another significant incident that made me realize that girl, you need to get your ears checked was when, still in my matric year, I sat at the back, like I think I was third last from behind. You know, you write your exams, your final exams at the hall, bigger venue. So yes, whenever they'd make announcement, whenever somebody would be standing in the front, one of the teachers or the principal or whoever would be standing in the front making an announcement, I always had a hard time hearing. I would get so mad. Okay, why aren't they speaking up? Why aren't you being clearer? Why aren't you being louder? And it would frustrate me so much. It would annoy the hell out of me. And then the weird part about that is that whenever I'd look back to the one behind me, I'd realize that they heard it. No, like I'm the third from behind, so 1, 2 back. They heard the announcement, and me over here, I missed it. You know. So yeah, it was many of such incidents. It got me insecure. It got me feeling a little weird, and I decided to go to an audiologist. Let me give you a little background information, because I think for any other normal person, they wouldn't instantly think of going to an audiologist to get their ears tested. But for me, it was an instant response, because my dad was deaf. How come I've never asked my mom this? I don't know how deaf it was, but he did have a hearing problem. He did have a hearing impairment. I don't know if it was mild, moderate, or I don't know. I just don't know. I can't remember. I know that he did have a hearing aid and he refused to wear it most times, and whenever we had to speak to him, we had to not necessarily raise our voices, but we had to like try and be more articulate, be clear when, but like don't do it extra. He hated it when you would like, where are you going? That's not how you do it. No, he wasn't the only one. His brother was also hearing impaired. So when I started feeling a little insecure about my hearing, my mom was just like, yeah, just go there. I got an appointment for during the week. It was a school day, so I just went straight there. For some weird reason, I didn't ask my mom to accompany me or anything. I was just like, no, I'll just go by myself. So I go there, I get there, and I tell this lady, no, this is what has been happening, and I do have a family history of hearing loss. She tests me out, and then the results of, because you get the results instantly, the results come out. She shows me the graphs, because the graphs show they show the normal level, and then if you below or below normal, or below whatever, I was slightly below the graph with my right ear. So she tells me that I have mild hearing loss on my right ear, and to preserve my hearing, since hearing loss is genetic for me, meaning that it runs in my family, my hearing is gonna deteriorate over the years. So it means that I am gonna lose my hearing as the years go by, and to preserve it, I do need to wear a hearing aid. She said that my left ear was functioning fine at that time, and she advised that I do wear a hearing aid on my right ear. Guys, hearing that devastated me. I was a mess. I was a total mess. Well, at that point, I sort of did know that something was wrong, because I would miss the slightest things during class conversations. I'd miss some jokes. I would mishear some things, like the Mfundisi, I have a son, Mfundisi, I have resigned type of things. You know, so I did know there was a problem with me, but just hearing that confirmation made me so emotional. I remember crying in that lady's office. I cried. I was very teary. I was alone, and because I was such a good girl, I didn't even want to miss school, so I still had to go back to school after that. I started recalling how at some point when I was younger, my parents were concerned, because in primary would have regular people coming to test our ears, so your parents could decide if they want to have you tested for your hearing, and they would pay up. In hindsight, now looking back at it, I do feel like my parents did kind of worry that one of their kids perhaps maybe would sort of face that kind of issue growing up, because I remember being taken for the hearing test because a conversation was going on around the house of Ukuti. Like, I just don't listen. I don't hear them, I guess. I don't know if it was a matter of listening or hearing. I did go for the hearing test in my primary school years, and the results came up positive. I didn't have any hearing impairment or hearing loss. Everything was fine. Everything was well and good until my matric year, and I'm being told that I need to go wear a hearing aid. I took the test around my trial exams, and I just ignored the whole thing. I was just like, you know what, I'm not ready. No, that's what I just simply told myself. I was like, you know what, I'm not ready. So I sat in my emotions. I tried to make sense of it. It would hurt so much whenever I'd feel like I've missed some jokes, whenever I'd feel like the people around were getting impatient with me whenever I asked them to repeat some things. So I took some time before I went back again to the audiologist for a hearing aid fitting. When I went back a few months later, she gave me a hearing aid, and she adjusted it to my hearing. So she would put it on some settings, and then I'd have to try it out on different settings, try it out indoors, try it out outside. And it was to some extent like trying out a new pair of spectacles. I remember the first time, oh gosh, I first lost my hearing, and then I lost my sight. I remember when I first tried out my spectacles in my first year, was it second year? Yeah, in my second year, when I tried out my first pair of spectacles, and I walked outside and I was like, wow, the trees are so beautiful. The trees were just so beautiful. Everything was just live and green and just amazing, beautiful. I remember it kind of felt the same when I put on the hearing aid and I could hear the birds chirping in the background, and I was like, oh wow, so this is what I'm sort of kind of been missing out on, like the slight low sounds. It's not that I couldn't hear at all, it's just the slight low sounds. She explained to me that I wasn't extreme. My hearing loss wasn't at an extreme or anything like that. It was mild. In that moment though, a part of me was sort of kind of grateful that I was on medical aid, because I got to have like one of the high ranges, like one of like the good quality hearing aids. I thought I did want to show it to you guys, but I have decided otherwise. This is the packaging. I've got the Belton brand. I don't know if you can see it. Here I had the card that has all the insurance details. I don't know, serial number, left ear, hearing aid type. Came with a booklet that has like the instructions for use. And then this is the hearing aid. I don't know, what should I call it? The packaging, the container. Just press here. And well, this is it. The only thing that made me comfortable and not so afraid of wearing my hearing aid, because these ones are super discreet. They're not like the hearing aids from back in the day that are so huge that everyone can see it and very uncomfortable on their ear. I will not lie though, this one was a bit uncomfortable the first few times I had to wear it. I sort of kind of understand now why my dad never wanted to wear it where he is back in the day, because yeah, hearing aids back then were very uncomfortable. But yeah, these ones are super cool. Look at how tiny it is. This is it. I don't know if you can see. Let me just hold it here. It has a transparent loop or whatever. This one is no longer working, guys. It hasn't been working for over a year. I haven't been able to fix it because I've had some issues with my medical aid, but I am sorting them out. And yeah, it's this color. You hook it on like this. This goes into your ear, deep inside, and then here there's a button to tune it or whatever. As you can see, you can barely see it unless obviously you're staring from behind, but even then it's not something that's destructive or whatever. I remember when I got it in matric, I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get mine embezzled, I'm gonna make my hearing aid look cool. Yeah, but my hearing aid is cool, definitely cool. It works. It has an app. Technology is advanced, guys. It has an app, which means that I can tune it on my phone. I can lower background noises. I can increase the volume on my phone. Actually, it works like AirPods. It works like wireless Bluetooth earphones. So I could listen to a voice note on my earphone. I could pick up on my hearing aid. I could pick up a phone call on my hearing aid when my phone rings, because it's connected to my phone. When my phone rings, it rings on my hearing aid. Apparently there's higher ranges that can even connect to your TV, I guess the smart TV, so everything that you hear, it goes straight to your hearing aid and you can just hear better. So they're very cool, guys. I'm sure there's more features that I haven't yet explored because I was obviously using one hearing aid. So I don't know the direct costs, but I do believe that I wouldn't have been able to afford a smart, I'm gonna call it a smart hearing aid like this one, if I wasn't on medical aid. So I sometimes do wonder how other people cope with it. But every hearing aid, I think with the times, they try to make them smaller, less visible, and more comfortable. I am not currently wearing any hearing aid, but I am due for an upgrade. I'm due for another hearing test. I did reveal in my last video that I went for a diagnosis and that I wasn't happy about, and it had to do with my hearing. So I decided to try out something different, because remember I indicated at the beginning of my video that I had gone to a white audiologist, you know. Since this has become a burden for me, I decided I wanted someone black. I wanted to go for a black person, because then I thought I would be able to express myself better. And because the time I made the decision to go back for a retest and everything, I was under high insecurities and a lot of stress. I had just started working and I was facing some challenges with my hearing, and I was just like, you know what, I don't want to sit in front of a white lady's desk and try to explain to her what's happening in my work context, because first of all, she won't get the work context. She won't. I just felt like I just needed someone like me to understand me better. So I looked for a different audiologist, and I don't want to go into details as to what transpired there. She did the test and whatever and discovered that my left ear was slightly deaf as well. So according to her results, both hearing in my ears had deteriorated, which for me was a bit confusing. I was like, well, yeah, and she found that the left ear was worse than the right ear. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit weird, because last I tested, the right ear was worse than the left ear. And I don't know, could it be that the hearing I preserved the hearing on this side and this one got worse? I don't know how to make sense of it. I've made the decision to go back to the person who had diagnosed me the first time, so that she can, because I feel like I started the journey with her and she would, like, I don't know, maybe better give me an idea of what's really going on. Yeah, I could maybe like get a second opinion, but it is what it is. Like, I can't dispute this no matter what, whether I'm like whichever audiologist is going to diagnose me. I feel like it is what it is, because it is genetic. But this time around, I want a cooler hearing aid, please. I want a hearing aid that's very cool. I wanted to connect to my smart TV. I don't even have a smart TV, but I wanted to connect to the TV. I wanted to, I don't know, whatever I can do, the highest range, that's what I want. I wanted to do all of that. I will say though, just a confession, I am scared that I may just need to wear hearing aids on both my ears, and I don't know. I still don't know yet how I feel about that, and it is a scary thought. It is still a scary thought. Oh, it has altered my life in so many ways. Like, guys, like I told you, I used to grow up thinking I was a social butterfly. I used to grow up thinking that I was the life of a party until my diagnosis, and I'm just like, you know, I avoid a lot of social situations so that I don't feel uncomfortable, so I don't feel like I've missed out on some things. I don't want to miss out on some jokes. I don't like, it's the tiny things. It's so weird when you find people giggling and then don't remember what they said, you know. I do want to say that is the reason why I never have background music on any of my videos, because I struggle to listen to other YouTubers who have post videos that post videos that have background music, because I struggle to concentrate and hear what the other person is saying. So yeah, it's such things and a lot more. These batteries are flipping expensive, guys. I think I used to buy a pack almost every second week, and the pack ranges from like 60 to 80 rand, so quite costly. So if I'm gonna have 2 hearing aids, you use this to clean the hearing aid. This end, there's the brush, whatever. This one has a magnetic thing to pull out the battery. How it works, you just like do this. When you remove it, it goes off. It's a cute hearing aid. I love it. I'm hoping by June I am gonna have my hearing aid and I'm gonna be able to hear you guys better. Maning chleba nam genginizwe nami maning chleba. We have come to the end of my mini story time, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and has alerted you guys to the many things people could be battling with and they don't show. Many disabilities that are not visibly apparent, you know. Just because I look the way I look and I speak the way I speak, or I carry myself the way I carry myself, does not mean that I don't have something that I struggle or battle with, you know. Which is a reminder again to always be kind, because one of the hardest things I experienced with my hearing loss is that people are so impatient. People are very impatient and they are not kind. When I ask you to repeat something to me 3 times, it's not because I like hearing the sound of your voice or I like hearing you speak. No, it's because I didn't hear you the first or second time around. Like, why else would I ask you to repeat something to me twice? So I don't get why people would get upset or mad when they have to repeat some things to people that have hearing losses. And the one thing I could say about hearing loss, it's very alienating. I don't know if that's how you pronounce the term, but yes, it's isolating. It's a very lonely thing, because you could be there but not be there, you know, because you see people talking, you see that there's a conversation going on, but you cannot hear, which limits how much you can fully partake in the conversation. And it's just, it can be a lonely journey. If you also do have a hearing loss in your family, or you are personally struggling with it, please do comment. I do believe that there's more of us than the world shows, you know, than we choose to show. I do believe there's a community of us somewhere out there, and I would love to see you or hear from you guys, hear from your experiences, how it's been like for the people around you, how it's been like supporting the people around you. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, and if you haven't subscribed just yet, please do subscribe. And I love you guys.